Hey guys, welcome back to another Crypto Pumps video. If you find this helpful, please hit the like button and give me a subscribe, and that will help the channel a lot and it will help get the word of Caspa out to more people. In this video, I'm going to talk about MEV, which is maximal extractable value. It's a mouthful. So this is a problem with all cryptos. They can be attacked and the transactions can be arranged inside the block. So it's a bit complicated and I've been trying to figure it out for a while, and I think something finally clicked. I have the general idea of it, so if I can understand it, I'm going to pass it on to you and help you understand. And this is another thing that Caspa is trying to fix, because it's a problem with crypto and that they can be attacked this way. So I made up this picture here, and this is thanks to Wolfie, because Wolfie had an analogy about a bus stop and a bus shelter. So the bus here, that's a block, okay? And all the people standing here, they're transactions. And the mempool is the bus shelter here. So when you do a transaction and you send it on from your wallet, it goes to the mempool and it gets rearranged and it gets put into a block. And with Caspa, this bus arrives every 1 second. There's one block every second, and then in the future it's going to be 10 blocks every second. So the thing is that somebody can attack these while they're standing here. So let's say for Bitcoin, I'm going to show you a couple of videos that will explain it as well. I'm just going to show you this quick and then it might make more sense. So anyway, for Bitcoin, you have a block a bus, let's say the block is the bus. The block comes along every 10 minutes. These are your transactions. So while these people are standing there in the mempool for 10 minutes, an attacker has a lot of time to rearrange transactions. He can put his transaction in front of yours, that will raise the price of your transaction, and then he can put another transaction after you which sells his at a higher price and he makes money on it. That's how it works. So with Bitcoin, he has 10 minutes to do it. For Ethereum, this bus comes every 12 seconds. So the transactions are standing in the queue in the mempool for 12 seconds, and that's how long an attacker has to manipulate them. For Caspa, the bus comes every 1 second at the moment, and all these guys are standing here for 1 second, so not as long to manipulate. But when we move to 10 blocks per second, these people will be standing here 100 milliseconds, a tenth of a second, so it's a lot less time to be manipulated and transactions to be moved and sandwich attacks and all that kind of thing. So that's why Jonathan Sampolinski wants to. It's important. He wants to get to 100 blocks per second, not for transaction speed or confirmation time. Because I heard him say somewhere on one of his AMAs or one of his talks that we wouldn't notice the difference in speed between 100 blocks per second and maybe 10 or 32 blocks, because it's just going to be, it'll just look like it's the same speed to us. Our transactions will get confirmed in the same speed, but what it does do, it stops these MEV attacks. So that's what it does. But I'll show you a couple of videos. We have one here. This is CoinChimp. He's very good. He's a dev that helped out Nacho a bit. So I give him a follow on YouTube. It's CoinChimp. He's on X as well. But have a listen to this.
The basics. MEV, or maximal extractable value, is the profit miners or validators can extract by reordering, including or excluding transactions in blocks. It's a major issue in decentralized systems, leading to practices like front-running and sandwich attacks that harm regular users and undermine fairness. Jumping ahead of your transaction, known as front-running, happens when an attacker sees your transaction in the queue and places their own before yours. For example, if you're buying a token at a specific price, the attacker can buy it first, driving up the price, and then sell it back to you at a higher rate. They profit and you pay more. A sandwich attack is a sneakier version. The attacker places one transaction before yours and another right after. For instance, they see you're about to buy a token, so they buy it first to increase the price, then let your transaction go through at a higher price, and finally sell the token at a profit. You lose money because you pay more than expected. These tricks hurt regular users by making transactions more expensive or less fair, while attackers pocket the difference at your expense.
So that's CoinChimp. Have a look. I have another video here. This is Wolfie. He did an interview a while ago with these guys. They're a little bit annoying because they keep interrupting him from his train of thought. But he loves analogies. He has analogy for MEV, and that's where I got the bus stop idea from. It was really good. So have a listen here. He explains it in his own way as well.
And breakthrough smart contract capability on the way what that's gonna the breakthrough part about that is MEV resistance will be built in. So many people may not be familiar with MEV, but that's, that could be also referred to as like front running. So if you're doing like a DeFi transaction and there's bots, I have to do my analogy here to explain it right.
Sure. Go ahead, please.
So when we were talking about, right, we were talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum and having the one block at a time and the relatively long block time. Think of like, if I send you guys Bitcoin right now, right? So the bus is coming every 10 minutes, right? But the transactions are waiting at the bus stop. So if I send one of you guys Bitcoin, that transaction's hanging out on the internet waiting. It's called the mem pool, the memory pool of transactions that have yet to be picked up and packaged into a block.
Yeah.
So they're waiting at the bus stop. Anybody with a little software and coding can look and see who's waiting, what address is it going to, I believe, and how much it is, and what's exactly this transaction trying to do before the bus comes and zaps it into a block, and then it's locked in. So until it's locked in, it can be manipulated or somebody else can do the idea. Particularly not so much Bitcoin, but this happens in like Ethereum.
In DeFi.
Yeah. So
you're saying that someone might be able to see someone's intention and then just basically beat them to it.
Beat them to it. So like if you're on like Uniswap or you have an arbitrage idea with Ethereum, so those Ethereum transactions, they're waiting there for 12 seconds before the next block grabs them.
Decentralization brings in transparency. So when it's transparent, it brings in the ability for everyone else to see it. So what you guys, I believe you're trying to say, are protecting the people waiting for the bus at the station, and kind of like adding, it seems, kind of a layer of anonymity or inability for others to understand who's waiting at the bus station. Is that?
It's both. Yeah. So first of all, the block times, by the time the smart
listen, Wolfie, I also like analogies, that's why.
Sure. No, you're right there. Yeah. So what happens, there's bots and there's malicious miners right now, and people who grab the idea for the transaction and execute it before that person's the originator of the transaction, and they steal the extra money. So like on swaps and stuff like that, they make the profit instead of the original person whose idea was. So between the combination of our rapid block time, by the time we have our smart contracts live, we're going to have the things are only going to be waiting 100 milliseconds, a tenth of a second at the bus stop. So it's only there. And then it's also going to be encrypted. So nobody can see anyway, even if they can look and try to do something that quickly.
Yeah.
So that's pretty magic. So the holy grail, as it's been described, would be a DEX on Kaspa at 10 blocks per second with the MEV resistant smart contracts in there. And then they'll be trading with nobody front running the deals in there, in instant settlements of transactions, without anybody tampering.
You know what? Actually, what you're saying is.
So that's one of Wolfie's famous analogies. That video would have been a lot shorter if your man there shut the fuck up, but you kept on talking over him. But anyway, I might get Wolfie on, and I promise not to interrupt him. I might ask him, is he interested in coming on? But yeah, just to go back to this at the end of the video, just to go back over it again. So again, what Kaspa'S trying to do is around 1 block per second. So this bus comes along every 1 second. All the transactions get on. They're all in the mempool before that. So they're standing there for a second. They have a second to be manipulated and be switched around by an attacker. But then when we go to 10 blocks per second, it's going to go to 100 milliseconds. They're standing there. So a tenth of a second. And then when it goes on to 100 blocks per second, I'm not even going to work that out. Is that tenth of a second or 10 milliseconds? I'm not too sure. But basically, it's probably impossible for an attacker or a bot to rearrange the transactions. But that's what MEV is. I hope you found it helpful. I hope I explained it all right. That's what I understand of it. I tried to keep it simple, but that's the gist of it. I hope it helps you, because there's a lot of complicated stuff in crypto, and it needs like, you want to invest in it, you need to understand it. You want to be able to understand it to see what separates Kaspa from the rest. But that's just one thing that Kaspa is working on that other guys can't do it, because Kaspa'S block time is so short. They will be able to get rid of this MEV, make it MEV resistant in the future. That's the end of the video. I hope you found it helpful. I'll talk to you in the next one.